Good morning. It's been a while since I've uploaded, and I just wanted to share something that I haven't actually fully let out. Haven't fully told anybody. I used to work for a organization. They terminated me unlawfully. They would have had a right if they were smart enough to actually dig deep enough. They could have figured out just why they got turned in by whom. Twice. You see, I knew of some shit going on within that organization within a different division. And I had people literally tell me that they were doing these illegal things. Not super illegal, like, you know, I can't think of anything right now, but it was just immoral company things. Immoral, unjust, not right, illegal. Some said people who were supposed to shadow and help certain, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna outright say it. I had a few people who were supposed to coach people with disabilities, supposed to help them to live to their fullest potential. And what they did was they had faked their case notes. They would sit in my office and they would fake their fucking case notes like they thought they should be able to get away with anything. So they told me this to my face. I said, shouldn't you go out and sit with your clients? Oh, no, it's okay. I'll just fake my notes. I do it all the time anyway, everywhere. What? Now, these clients were people with disabilities, people who were in a certain particular program within a certain company that the company I worked for was getting paid to have a person job coach these people with disabilities. So that means it was uh, the government was paying for this so that these people could live a meaningful life, get the help they needed, even have somebody to talk to while they worked so that they could lay their problems out. That's what their job basically consisted of, showing them how to do their job, showing the clients how to do their job, and being an ear to listen. So they were getting paid big bucks for this. And I'm pretty sure the company didn't know, even though I tried to tell them. So I tried a couple of different ways, if I remember correctly. But what I do truly remember is I got so fed up with it because these people just kept sitting in my office. It's one thing if you come down and you visit and, you want to type up your case notes or you just have your lunch, whatever. But no, they were sitting there all day from the time they got there in the morning until the time they left in the evening. Just sitting there visiting. So after a while, it got on my bad side and made me wonder, how's this going to play off for me? Am I going to get my ass in trouble because somebody's not doing their job right and they're faking a government document, basically, is how I viewed it. Now, if it was actually a government document or not, I don't really know, but it was notes that were used to describe what the client was doing all day and the different problems they were having. And then it was turned into another organization that oversaw people with disabilities and helped them to get funding. As a part of the government, so these are technically government documents, as far as I can see. So I got tired of it and I typed up an anonymous email from an anonymous email address that I had created, and I sent this information in to a couple of different places. And I waited and waited. And it said something like, Goodwill is allowing fake documents about clients with disabilities while some of their I gotta bleep that out. I don't want to give the name away. There's one reason for this more than anything. It's been 4 years, and it's just time to let it out. Actually, it's closer to 5. Anyway, I got off subject again. So I sent that in, basically enough information to show that it was all being faked and probably something needed to be done about it. I waited, I think it was a month or two. Nothing happened. And there was somebody else who knew that I'd done it. I didn't really tell them right away or how I done it or who I sent the email to, but I let the information out because it was somebody that I was working closely with. Actually, 2 people I was working closely with. So, nothing happened in a month or two. I then began to make a new email. I wrote a new email from a new email address, all that would not give away my personal information. This time, I sent it to Governor Tom Wolf's desk, to his email, or an email that was associated with him, because I don't know how that works. And I relayed the information again. This time, something happened because, and I'm sorry for this to the person who got blamed for it, even though they had left. About a month or two later, there was a big meeting. A month later, there was a big meeting for all the job coaches and some of the bigwigs from the company I worked for came in, and it's just funny because this other person that got blamed was leaving. He was done. He was going to become a preacher or something like that. I don't remember. He was leaving the company to go to another company or go do something else more meaningful with his life. They blamed him, said they thought he must have done it, turned him in. So I know it got around. And I know they must have taken some sort of heat. And come to find out, after, I think it was maybe a year later, I was illegally terminated. They claimed, well, let me give you this story, because this is exactly as it happened. When somebody would get in trouble, when somebody would turn somebody in within the company, I would have to turn all the important information about what had happened, who had accused who of what, send it to headquarters, and headquarters would then deal with it. But the problem is, when somebody turns somebody in, you should keep their name quiet because you don't want the retaliation. Because inevitably, our fucking screwed up uh, society has it that you got to retaliate. That they think you need to retaliate because you were harmed, even if you were doing wrong. You get where I'm going with this. So I had gotten tired of having to turn in all this information and then inevitably find out that there was retaliation from the person who got turned in because somebody was an idiot and used the name of the person that turned them in. Now, first of all, if you're dealing with people with uh, learning disabilities, uh, you know, might have autism, might have anything like that, do you really think it's a good idea to tell them that somebody turned them in, what their name is, and especially if they did it? Because if you have a mental disability like that or any other, you might be more likely to lash out. So I did not agree with this. I thought it should have been kept confidential who turned somebody in and, to protect them. They wouldn't do it. The company would not do it. I don't know why. So one day I pulled the whole crew together that worked for or with me because I was a supervisor. And I said, now when something's going wrong and somebody does something bad that's going to get us kicked off of this campus and out of a job, and you want to turn somebody in for making that type of mistake and make sure it gets taken care of so you can keep your job, do not give me your name. In fact, we're going to set it up that I'm going to put a notebook on my desk. And if you need to use the notebook to write down who did what, do not sign your name. Do not put your name. Do not tell me who you are. Just because I'm tired of this backlash bullshit that keeps coming from headquarters telling somebody who turned them in. So I set that up. I put a notebook out there so they could use it, and I showed them where it was and what it looked like, the color, all of it. And I even always had a pen with it, attached to it almost. About 2 weeks later, somebody that my parents actually get along with that I would say I bitterly hate because she's the reason I got fired. She made up some bullshit. She retired that year. Anyway, she found out by talking to one of the clients and warped the words and twisted the fucking words and told the client to, oh, well, I want you to document this down that he's trying to get you to keep a notebook on what other people are doing so he doesn't have to do his job. That was bullshit. 3 of us that were in that office that day when this got set up so that people could write in the notebook and never have to leave their name, never have to worry about the backlash. Uh, 3 of us got written up for it. I got fired because I wanted to protect my employees, my crew. And in this fucked up little state of Pennsylvania, you can't really fight back on that unless you get solid proof, like documentation and shit. Because the state will look at you and say, it's an at-will state. They can fire you for no reason at all if they want. Good luck. Go find a new job. Because I did call them. I fought to get unemployment until I could get a job, another job. That was screwed over. Basically, I just wanted to relay all this information. So, it's not all of goodwill. I'm going to leave their name in there. I was going to keep it out, but I kind of don't really care right now. It's not all of goodwill in Pennsylvania. That is the problem. It is select certain people in goodwill in upper management. They got too big for their britches, basically. Too big for their boots. And they think they're so important. But if the goodwill in Pennsylvania failed to exist any longer, they would find out how very unimportant they are. Sorry, this is not down reselling of used goods, but who in their right mind would miss that if they could afford to just go and buy brand new clothing from someplace else or drive a little further and go to another secondhand store like that. So, for all of you in Goodwill who had a good laugh because you illegally terminated me by making up a bunch of bull, I hope you're happy now. Karma sucks, and it's going to bite you in the butt so hard if it hasn't already. I've kept this under wraps and I've kept quiet on this for about 4 years because I was terminated in January of 2020. It's now 2024. January of 2024. In fact, it's been exactly 4 years in a couple of days. I was never really upset because of the loss of working for Goodwill. I was never upset because of that company and not being able to work for it, basically. I was pissed because I was lied about. I was pissed because they made up bull. And Angry anymore? No, because I got the last laugh. I know damn well there's some state organization watching your fucking ass right now. And I got the last laugh because up until now, you had no goddamn clue who turned your ass in twice to the state. You wanted to blame it on the guy that was leaving. And no, I'm not. I'm going to say this because I want you to see how I viewed it. They wanted to blame it on the guy who was leaving that was um, gay. Seems a little rude. Make up lies and fire somebody because, well, they won't kiss your ass. They won't be your drone. I turned you in and I feel fucking prouder than ever about it. It's probably never going to change. You might have fired me, but I did get the last laugh. Now we'll see if I upload this or if I decide to try it again another day. For any of you that shop at Goodwill, I'm not telling you to stop shopping at Goodwill. You can get cheap stuff, cheap clothing, cheap goods. But if you work for Goodwill, watch your back, watch your step. Not only are they in an at-will state called Pennsylvania, where they can terminate you for no reason, but they like to make up. Some of them like to make up lies. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.